Welcome back to the Gardening with Joy and Holly radio show. We're going to talk about cooking and cast iron, but first, a word from our good friends at Rise Gardens.
Rise Gardens is a revolutionary hydroponic gardening system for your home. Instead of food traveling hundreds or even over 1,000 miles before it hits your plates, harvest the veggies, herbs, and greens you need for dinner tonight in the comfort of your home. No green thumb required. Gardening made easy with the Rise Gardens app. Step-by-step guidance from seed to harvest. A complete garden on a shelf. Comes with everything you need to grow healthy and the freshest food for you and your loved ones. Fully customize your garden to your needs and preferences. For more information and get your Rise Garden, visit risegardens.com.
Well, whenever you harvest your food from your garden, one may choose to cook it in a variety of different types of devices. However, we are going to talk about cooking in cast iron.
So there's many benefits to cooking in cast iron. And I think one that people don't always think about, they might think, oh, it's so heavy, blah, blah, blah. You know, it's just a pain. But it does regulate the heat very evenly once it gets warmed up. And that's important because I've had cheaper pans that are non-stick. And then, you know, you get this hot spot on the side or in the middle. And
Inconsistent
cooking, yeah. Uh-huh. And another thing that is nice about the cast iron is they can easily go from stove to oven, and that's nice too.
Right. There's no worry about that whatsoever. But yeah, it holds that heat and holds it very well. Whether you're cooking on the stove, on a camp stove, or over a campfire, we use cast iron cookware when we go camping. We have an additional channel called Time by the Tent on YouTube, in which we document our camping adventures as well as camping tips and everything in between when it comes to camping. So we use cast iron because of the unique aspect that it provides with the meals in which you prepare, in which you cannot capture in any other way. It is also, though it is heavy, it is easy to clean and easy to maintain. If done correctly, your cast iron skillet, if, again, done correctly, over the course of multiple cookings, can essentially work into becoming a non-stick skillet. Just like your Teflon that you are using or may choose to use. Some people choose not to use because of the toxicity in which they feel is going into the food. But cast iron can layer in. It's a way of becoming a non-stick skillet based on how you're cooking with it.
Right. It's an option for that. And they do make the thinner cast iron. So maybe if you're just doing some simple cooking where you don't need the sides, the deeper sides of the pan.
More like a flat pan.
Like a flat pan. That's something that might be a little bit more manageable for you. Especially if you're just two people, we have I think it's like an 8-inch or 10-inch skillet.
8-inch, yeah.
Yeah, and we use that for a lot of things, and it's not too heavy to deal with.
It will last forever. You get what you pay for when it comes to cast iron. There's a handful of American-made companies that still produce cast iron in the United States. There are many knockoffs and other overseas manufacturers that produce lower quality, thinner cast iron, and you can tell just by looking at a cast iron skillet if it is thick or thin walled, and the thicker walls distribute that heat better. And you don't want to put a cast iron anything into a dishwasher or scrub it heavily with soap. Most recommendations are simply wipe it out. If you do have residue left from whatever you're cooking, you can take and put some soapy water into it, scrub it with a soft bristled brush, and then rinse it out and dry it immediately. Some people will also turn the stove on and flip it upside down over the stove to get the rest of that water out before they put it away. There are ways of treating a cast iron or seasoning it if it is not already seasoned, or it loses its seasoning because you forgot to do something or it became rusty. There's many different mechanisms and techniques in which you can do that when doing that. So I've taken completely rusty cast iron and used it with a vinegar spray, rinsed it off, vinegar spray, and then seasoned it with olive oil in a 500-degree oven over the course of a 3-hour period, and it has come out looking as if we bought it from the store. So it can be done.
You can find how to do this on the interwebs online, but Joey did find that way to use the vinegar and then the neutral oil. We use olive oil to season it, and he does this when I'm not home because I don't want to smell the very strong odor of the pan getting seasoned. Essentially,
you can do this over a campfire too.
Yeah, and we also discovered that after it's been seasoned and you do cook with it, it can have kind of an odor, a strong odor. So if you are using cast iron for camping and you found a piece at a thrift store, secondhand shop, whatever, and you want to season it, you can season it in your home, and then maybe you do want to cook with it over a campfire or grill outside, whatever, to get that initial cooking, just in case there is something to still kind of burn off.
Yes. Cast iron is something that has been around for a long time. It'll be around for a much longer time than you are if you take care of the pan. There's Dutch ovens. There's frying pans that are 4 inches, and I've seen them up to, I think, 24 inches in diameter, and they are very hefty. And you can make cornbread, bread, or any type of basically anything you make with anything else you can do in a cast iron. The big thing is doing bread in a Dutch oven. That's a popular thing as well. Yeah,
there's the bread in the Dutch oven. There's pizza in the cast iron. A lot of people make the deep dish pizza, so you get that crispy crust on the outside, the soft chewy crust in the middle, and then the nice delicious cheesy pizza. I'm not a huge fan of deep dish, but that does, when I've seen people do that, it does look delicious.
And there's grilled cast iron that's got the grill marks on it, so you can have the appeal to your burger or meat that has the grill marks. That's something that we're working on learning more about and I just found another pan the other day that allows that. There is cast iron waffle makers. There's cast iron, anything that you can imagine, they've made it out of cast iron.
Pudgy pie.
I don't know.
That maybe, probably. I don't know. It's kind of, yeah. I think so. The handle might not be all cast iron, but the little like clampy sandwichy part.
Oh
is,
yeah. So. Yeah, cast iron is a very unique thing. Now, when it comes to cooking things in which you've harvested, there's really no wrong way to go about doing it. Yes, you can, and it's recommended to use some oil or butter in order to add some lubrication to the bottom of the pan to prevent your vegetables from sticking or your meat from sticking in the bottom of the pan.
I will have to say.
Yes.
I personally don't cook that much with the cast iron. Joey does.
Is there a reason why you choose not to?
I just think it's a little bit different for me. I'm used to the lighter weight, I hate to say it, nonstick Teflon pan. But I do enjoy what you cook in.
But they do have non-stick coatings for cast iron. Some of the major companies do have that white coating inside of them that's almost essentially non-stick.
Right. I'm not saying that it's the non-stick. I'm just saying that it's just a matter of what I'm used to cooking in. And I feel like how you grew up with deer camp and farming and blah, 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 it's more your style. But I have nothing against it. And then when we go camping, you do most of the cooking, and then I do a lot of the food prep and stuff. So it's just something that I'm not familiar, I guess, with, or it's just not second nature to me.
Now, there are good quality pans in which you can get for $20 or $30, $40. You can also spend hundreds of dollars on cast iron. There is some, companies that no longer exist that are people will look for specific brands or brand markings on pans that are good, and some people simply collect them like people collect radios or cars or golf clubs. But there are a certain caliber of individual that's all they use is cast iron.
Maybe we should talk about cast iron accessories.
Yes.
So, like, for example, our cast iron set that we got came with that glove, the heat glove,
and
like a hooky thing.
To remove the lid off the
Yeah.
cast iron. Now we got a cook set that's designed for outdoor cooking, which it is used for indoor as well, but it does come with a glove in which, because cast iron, there is no safe area on a cast iron, whether you have a Dutch oven or you have a frying pan, it gets hot everywhere, and it stays hot for a very long time if it's good quality. So you have to be very cautious of how and where you lift it and put it once you're done making the dish that you're making.
Right. And those are nice. And then you'll see a lot of times if you go to the store that sells cast iron, I've even seen this at big box stores that sell cast iron. There's like a little scrubber chain link or whatever it's called.
It looks like a handful of, it looks like a wad of dog chain, but very tightly woven. That is used to scour the bottom of the cast iron, because it is not, it's frowned upon to use steel wool on a cast iron, because you can break apart or remove that seasoning that is being layered into the bottom of the pan, that over time creates that non-stick layer, that natural non-stick layer on the pan. So there are accessories in which, if you're going to do it and you want to do it more right than others, you can spend additional funds on getting the correct additional accessories in order to properly clean the pan in which you're cooking in.
Right. And that's again another accessory. And if you are not familiar with cooking in cast iron, I would suggest investing. If you want to start cooking, invest in a piece, something that you know that you will use. I don't want to call it multi-purpose, but multi-purpose, yeah.
Yes.
Piece that you're like, okay, I use a 12-inch skillet now for a lot of my cooking. I will invest in a 12-inch skillet for cast iron cooking, and then get used to that switch. I know for us, part of our cast iron outdoor cooking set, we got a nice Dutch oven, and I didn't get a chance to use it last year while camping, and I'm looking forward to it.
And they have griddles, and they have griddles in which you can use. So cast iron, whether you cook only vegetarian dishes and or you cook carnivore dishes or both, cast iron is a way to go. It is a healthier way to go than what a lot of the devices in which you could choose to cook in nowadays. There's a level of mindset, safety, peace of mind that cast iron offers, because it is very authentic and earth friendly, I guess, healthy for one to use.
Right. Yep. So I think you should give it a try. For more information, please visit thewisconsinvegetablegardener.com.